You're watching The Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. I'm here with Suzie Dawson, founder, creator of Panquake.com. But you touched on it just a second ago. I want to talk about, since Panquake is this really kind of revolutionary thing that's been like, it's been on the tip of everybody's tongue, and you put it together. When you first talked to me about it last fall, you're like, Graham, I got this thing. I was like, wait, what? This sounds awesome. I'm not a tech guy, so I don't get that stuff very well, but I understand enough about what the transparency of blockchain to go, oh, this is important. I got into crypto started really paying attention to crypto. You were telling me, hey, Ethereum at under $400 is a pretty good deal, as it just broke a new all-time high of 2,600. You were telling me that last night. You were like, yeah, Bitcoin Cash is $300. You might want to jump on board with that. It hit 1,000 or whatever. Bitcoin was at 10,000, and here it is. It's at 55 or whatever it was today after bouncing off. Oh, it crashed to $47,000, and now it's spiking back up. I just love that. So you were like really, and your years of being an activist and working with WikiLeaks and being an advocate for Julian Assange and seeing how the intelligence community works and why you need this. And you got Bill Binney involved in this, which is just, when you told me that, I was like, damn, this is awesome. And you kind of saw this coming. You knew this was going to happen. Lately there's been some crazy smears and attacks and whatever. Panquake's gonna kill puppies or set your grandmother on fire or whatever crazy, Panquake is selling heroin to children or whatever their smears they're making. What is some of the crazy shit that's happened? So it's important not just for us to joke about it, because it's like, it is kind of insane, but I want the audience to see, because I talk about this like on my show. When you start really challenging those that are in power, this is how they come at you. They try to divide, keep everybody divided, distracted, and afraid. And they will use all kind of tactics to divide and undermine movements. They get people within. I mean, if you watch, look, they just did the Oscars last night, and Judas and the Black Messiah, that actor won for playing the role of Fred Hampton. It's a good movie. I recommend people watching it.
I would love to see that.
Oh, it's great. And it's the Fred Hampton story, which everybody should know about. I've talked about it at great length, but they had an FBI informant in a couple of them inside of the Black Panthers to divide, because Fred Hampton made the egregious error of unifying people, the working class white people, Latino, whatever. So anytime you've got something that empowers people like Panquake will do, man, did they not like it, because they need us fighting with each other. They need us red state, blue state, whatever, picking some team. So what kind of crazy shit have you seen recently? Just so we also show our audience, like, these are their tactics. This is how they roll.
Well, the thing with these like smear merchants is that their smears are always pretty easy to disprove. Like, if you scratch below the surface on them, it's not hard to find the evidence that disproves the smears. So they basically just rely on people not doing that. Like, they rely on people just seeing something and believing it just because the text is in front of them. Whereas if you do even the slightest bit of homework, you'll discover that it's total crap, right? And then they go with quantity, not quality as well. So they'll just, like, if one smear doesn't work, they just try another one, and then they try another one, and they try another one. And it's pretty endless. And sadly, I've been seeing it happen to myself and other people for the last 10 years. Every single movement I've been involved in has been smeared. Every single activist who's been in any way effective has been smeared. Every whistleblower has been smeared. Every publisher who's published anything worth being published has been smeared. I remember Julian and WikiLeaks putting together this list of, it was like debunking all the smears about Julian. It was something like 100 long. Like, it just went on and on and on, just all the BS that had been circulated about him to try and undermine him, to try and undermine his family, try and undermine his career, undermine his relationships. And, obviously I haven't copped it anywhere near as badly as Julian, thank Christ. But I've certainly had like my fair share at my much lower level. And someone really close to me and who's extremely cool said the other day, they said, it's only a matter of time now, Suzie, before they say that you're not a New Zealander. Like, that you're not from New Zealand. Because I've had like I'm not actually in Russia. I don't actually have kids. I just like invented my kids and like made them up for sympathy or something. Despite the fact that no one's ever like I don't put my kids on social media. So the idea that I've somehow cooked them up for sympathy is a bit strange because why aren't I actually, but whatever. None of the stuff. That's what I mean. None of the stuff ever makes sense. I've had
just real quick.
No, but just let me get the full suite out. Okay. I live in Putin's palace. Okay, that's one of my personal favorites. I live in Putin's. I mean, you've seen my kitchen.
Well, that's the point.
This is Putin's palace, but I live in Putin's palace. I'm a secret millionaire. I'm a secret millionaire who ran away with millions of dollars from New Zealand. That I sold my house and took all the money and left. Never mind the fact that how it actually works when you sell a house is that before you see a single dollar, the bank gets the mortgage from the government land registry, like gives them. They get paid before you, but the smear merchants don't care about small factors like this. So they just like, they'll dig up any like strange record. Like they found like some record from Occupy Auckland that had like a list of media team people on it and my name wasn't on it. So they started circulating this thing to everybody I know, sending them this smear piece about me saying, this is the definitive proof Suzie was never at Occupy Auckland. Like Suzie has been lying all these years. And it's like, there's like videos of me Occupy Auckland. There's like interviews. There's like, my name is all over the Occupy Auckland and Occupy New Zealand official Facebook pages and social media accounts for like all through 2011, 2012, right? But because they find this one thing that doesn't have my name on it, that's like somehow like, this is the like holy grail of like proof that Suzie's no good. Like, it's just this just ridiculous, childish nonsense, this fantasies that they like dream up about you. And yeah, I mean, this just goes with the territory. I refer to it as being deranged fan fiction because like to me it's basically what it is. It's like there's an element to it that's really like almost like 50 Shades of Grey type shit. It's like, it's like they turn you into this like super exciting like novel like character or something that they can make up all these friggin' stories about. I love that actually one of the recent ones was they said Suzie always has a rich man behind her. And I'm like literally like, where?
Where's this dude at?
Where is the rich man? Can you please tell me where the rich man is? Like, because he hasn't actually paid anything. So if I'm gonna have a rich man behind me, could he actually pay something? Like even $5 a month for a Panquake account would be an improvement on reality.
Can this rich guy just put $20 into the crowdfunding for Panquake? Well, this is the thing I love about this. First of all, the people that say, oh, she was never an Occupy. So they're hoping or assuming that no one watching, like anyone watching right now, go to a search engine and just do Occupy Auckland Suzie Dawson.
Exactly.
Just see what you find. It's like somebody saying Graham Elwood has never been a comedian. Just type in Graham Elwood comedian and just see what comes up. Just see like Graham Elwood's never been to Iraq or Afghanistan. See what comes up. And then the rich guy thing is so hilarious. And of course, rooted in good old sexism that no woman could be successful unless a rich guy was there to help her out. So there's that on top of the ridiculous of that. I really particularly love the Putin's palace and the no kids thing. I haven't visited you in Moscow because I'm like, I've met your kids, hung out with them. I stayed in your place. You have a very nice, modest little place in Moscow. And I'm like, this is the most elaborate hoax I've ever seen. Like so Putin hired child actors, both with New Zealand accents, to hang out in this modest apartment in Moscow. So I'm like, wow, this is the most elaborate thing to do for a soccer mom from New Zealand, to fabricate this thing. And then, so your accent, I guess, is fake. You're just like George Bush's Southern accent. So I'm like, you talk like a Kiwi. So I'm like, what did Putin spend on this? Like $20 million on these fake kids and the accent?
Apartment. Like, spent $20 million on this apartment. Oh, and then
God. I'm like, And then like, oh, she's living in a palace and like, she's a Putin puppet. I'm like, well, I wish he would have given her a couple extra bathrooms or a bigger kitchen or something. I mean, you would think he would be able to give like, rather than this like modest home that a single mom and 2 kids are living in. Like, it was like, wow, I guess so. So Putin just is money's tight. So he can only.
There's something really interesting. Someone actually very bravely leaked me a chat, like IM conversation of some of these smear agents who were plotting to smear me. And it's their conversation with each other about them doing it. And if you go to contraspin.co.nz, it's actually, I've published it, it's right at the top. And in that DM conversation, they're talking about how to Putin jacket me. They actually use this term, Putin jacket. And the thing that I found so interesting about that wasn't just that they're actually plotting to smear me and try and destroy my reputation. It was that the fact that they're trying to come up with ways to Putin jacket me tells me that they know I don't work for Putin. They know I don't work for Russia. They know I'm not a spy. That's why they are having to try and invent something, and seeing this conversation between them, plotting to invent something to try and use that to tar my name is quite enlightening, because it showed me that they know full well I'm legit. They know full well what they're doing. It's absolutely deliberate on their part, and pretty shameful.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember when you tweeted that out showing the Putin jacket thing. I mean, the first thing I asked was like, how do I get one of these Putin jackets? I mean, like, does it come in blue? I mean, can I get it? Is it a zip up? Is it buttons? Like, can I wear it? Just sort of like, is it warm weather clothing? Like, what is the Putin jacket? And then they've been so elaborate. So you showed me this, and I forwarded it to Jimmy Dore and Steph. They took a tweet from Steph and basically photoshopped it and then retweeted it like it was a screen grab, which that's I was going to be leery of some of the screen grabs. And they made it look like Steph Zamorano was doing hashtag scamquake. And I was like, what? And again, it's so funny. Like, these are friends of mine. I've known Jimmy and Steph for over 20 years. Good, nice try. Like, nice try. Like, it's, and the fact then again, that they know you're legit and they're deliberately trying to undermine you. That's when, like, while it sucks to be targeted, on the one hand, it's like, at least you're riling them, you're scaring them. Like, and it's a thing, and when I sent that to Steph, and I've talked to her and Jimmy about that, and when, how they really went after Jimmy with Force the Vote. And now people are like basically taking Jimmy's Force the Vote idea and go, we should do that now. It's like, oh God. And like Steph,
first, what is it? First they will ignore you, then they will ridicule you, then they will fight you, and then you'll win.
Yeah.
That's exactly the process that he's gone through with that.
Yeah. And like Steph jokes, she goes, really? I didn't realize that, a stoner comedian, me, she's like, her and Jimmy just smoke weed on camera sometimes and drink Negronis at the end of their show. Like, really? We're the big threat. We're the threat. Like, comedians in garages and apartments and single moms. Like, we're the threat to the empire. Like, it's just, it's kind of insane. And it is, it is like crazy fan fiction. Like, it is just like these elaborate, I saw something, I've been called controlled opposition. I've been called definitely when I went to Russia to visit you and do shows there, I was called a Kremlin puppet, like, without a doubt. And I was like, okay, man, like, here's me flying coach because a handful of people donated money so I could get a cheap plane ticket. I flew coach. Like, this is,
and then crashed in my apartment for a week. Yeah. It's like,
and then,
but people straight up fantasize about us. Like, it's the strangest thing in the world. Like, I get emails from people who are acting like they have some relationship with me. I have no idea who they are. I have people like trying to hook up with me. Like, oh, I'm in Moscow, and like, this hasn't happened recently, obviously, because of the pandemic. But in like years prior, I had multiple people like, I'm on such and such street in Moscow, and let's have lunch today. I'm like, I don't have no fucking idea who you are. Like, excuse my language, but I'm not going to lunch with some dude I've never heard of in my entire life. Thanks for the offer, I've just had so many crazy experiences like that. Just and I'm like, who am I? Like, I'm a journalist. I'm just like, I write some articles, and very occasionally I do a YouTube stream, or like, and if I can get like this level of like crazy stuff going on, like from this, I mean, I've already got what 30,000 followers. Like, then what's it like to have 300,000 followers? What's it like to have 3 million followers? You know, if this is the kind of stuff that's going on, and even like I recently I did that last Jimmy Dore show appearance that I was on last month, whenever, and I had people claiming that I was in cahoots with you to do that Jimmy Dore show, like to somehow distract from whatever it was that they were doing or whatever. And literally, how I found out that you were even going to be on that Jimmy Dore show episode was when I logged on to the Jimmy Dore stream, and they said, "Oh, today we have Suzie Dawson, Aaron Mate, and Graham Elwood." And I thought to myself, "Oh, Graham Elwood's on tonight. I didn't know that. Wow, you know." But so, like, to me, it was just totally like incidental by the by. But to other people, like, they actually put so much thought into Suzie went on Jimmy Dore, and therefore she must have known this, and she must have said that, and she must have organized this with Graham Elwood, and this must be the reason that she organized this with Graham Elwood, and Suzie and Graham, you know what I mean? It's like they create this whole narrative and fiction, and they attribute it to you, and it feels really, honestly, Graham, like I feel like there's me, Suzie Dawson, who you know, and who my team knows, and who, like, some people actually know who I am. And then there's like these little fake Suzie Dawsons, like Russian dolls, these little fake Suzie Dawsons that are created by all of these people. Like, they invent, like, this is Suzie, no, that's Suzie, no, that's Suzie, it's just the strangest sensation. It's really weird.
Well, the Jimmy Dore thing, you told me about it later, that someone was like, "Oh, Graham and Suzie," and we both started laughing because, like, I had the almost identical experience. Literally, this is for people who don't know. This is Jimmy, my friend Jimmy. He'll text me and go, "Hey man, you want to come on the show today at 4:00?" And I'll go, "Yeah, cool." Like, I think I was planning on going live. I wasn't sure. And I was like, shit, I'll just do Jimmy's show. And I think I texted Kate, my assistant, was like, "Hey, I'm going to do Jimmy's show." So, I didn't have anything set up. I didn't have an interview set up. Just like, whatever, I'm busy. I'd rather be surfing. And I was like, fuck. Oh yeah, we'll go on Jimmy's show. That'll wait. And I did the exact same thing. I see a tweet, Aaron Mate and Suzie Dawson. I go, "Oh my God, am I going to be on the same time as Suzie? I hope so. Maybe not. Maybe there'll be different segments. I don't know." Because my friend Jimmy woke up, said, "Hey buddy, you want to be on?" Probably just went, "Oh shit, I could use a guest today. Let's get Graham and Suzie."
Julian used to say the coolest thing about exactly this. He used to say, they take two, what did he say? They take 2 and 2 and make 22.
Yeah.
It's like literally, like, they take 2 and 2 and they go like so far down that their little paths, or their little fantasy paths. And that's what I mean when I say they fantasize about us. I mean, like, they don't just like go one step past reality. They go like 10 steps past reality, and then they get stuck down there at 10 steps past, and then they package it all up and attribute it back at you and like push it back onto you. And it's like, no, sorry, that's not mine. It's actually yours. You came up with that. You can keep it.
I love when they just like think I'm a part of some elaborate thing. I'm like, do you know what how I did today? I woke up this morning, I went down by the water and I meditated, and I came home and I made a, gluten-free vegan breakfast and drank some tea because I'm not a coffee drinker. And then I was like, "Oh shit, I should probably get a yoga class in before I go live with Suzie." And I did that and realized I didn't have time to make a vegan smoothie. So I ate a vegan protein bar right before the show. And I'm usually late because I'm like, my brain is not always focused on shit, because I was like, I'd rather check the surf report and then, see who's pitching for the Cubs today. And then, then you come on the show. But I'm like amazed that they think I have this elaborate, I'm counter or whatever, like, what's the controlled opposition. So I don't know, deep state Dan calls me, and then I I call the Kremlin, and then we get in touch with you, and then we coordinate this elaborate thing for me to just like, oh, I'm going to interview Suzie today after I do yoga. Like, the fuck, what do they think? Like, you know what I'm doing and I'm going live tonight at 7. So I got to go to like the grocery store. So that's what I'm going to do today between my live. I mean, obviously grocery store is code name for Langley, Virginia. That's where I'm really going to go. And that's like, what the fuck do they think?
Well, I'd like to know what they get up to at Langley, Virginia, because I think it's a whole lot less spectacular than the James Bond movies would lead you to believe, or similar. Right. Or Zero Dark 30 or whatever it is. I suspect that they spend a lot more time trolling people on Twitter than they do disarming nuclear bombs.
Yes, I know. It's like, and that's the other thing too.
Pretty damn sure of it.
Well, you see too, like when someone that is like supposedly how easy it is to divide the left, and what happens is there's some people on the left are easily, they just flip out easier. And then you also see like they probably might have some like intelligence person in their ear to make them flip out, and how easy it's done. But you always, you and I have joked about this too, when we've just had conversations of this person right now. So somebody who's like, let's say, I don't think this has happened today, but it's happened in the past on my live stream. There's someone in the chat trying to cause problems. I'm like, that's your job. Like, that's your job, is to sit in some dirty, dark room, eating Funyuns and, diet Dr. Pepper, whatever you're jamming down your dumb mouth, never seeing the sunshine, to fuck up people like a vegan comedian and a single mom activist from just making the world a better place. So that's how you spend your day. Like, all right, man. I mean, while you're doing that, I'm going to be like tomorrow morning, probably going to surf. So good luck just spending your time, staring into a computer screen, trying to fuck up lefty activists on social media. Like, what a dumb job. What a dumb life.
The big secret though, I totally agree with you. But the big secret is that they do it to the left and to the right.
Of course.
They do it to anybody who is threatening the status quo.
Yeah.
And that was something that really shocked me. So studying intelligence, in my journalism, I've extensively studied their own documents of the intelligence agencies. And actually in the Fusion Center FOIA documents, it showed that they were infiltrating, sabotaging, and spying on both pro-choice and pro-life activist groups simultaneously. And like, when I saw that, for me, that was a real wake-up moment. That was when I realized that they have no ideological bent or position other than preserve status quo situation.
Right.
Like, so if some like Tea Party group or some right-wing whatever group is doing something that threatens the status quo, infiltrated, sabotaged, spied on, destroyed. If some left-wing group is doing that, infiltrated, spied on, sabotaged, destroyed. And when you see like, one of the saddest things for me actually was like in 2011, 2012, it was always us activists against the police state. Like the protest line was the people and the police. And what we've seen happen in the last like 5 years in particular is that they have successfully, I'll explain fusion centers in a second, Arthur Davis, I am watching chat. They have successfully turned the public against other members of the public so that the protests are now public versus public. And the police, the riot police, are on the freaking sidelines eating popcorn and laughing. And that to me is like the saddest thing, is that we were so good at organizing mass protests against the militarized police state, and now the militarized police state are just smiling while we all attack each other. And that is the most sickening and tragic thing for me. And, the intelligence agencies, they are the curators of our domestic populations. That is how they see themselves. They identify who are doing things they don't want to be done, and then they shut them down by any means necessary. And they do it while pretending that it's all about public safety, but it has nothing to do with public safety. It's to do with elite safety. It's to do with bank safety. Yeah. It's to do with corporate robber baron safety. It has nothing to do with public safety, which is why they don't give a shit about Flint water, which is why they don't give a shit about, poisoning aquifers with a freaking pipeline, which is why they don't give a shit about Medicare for all. They don't care about public safety. They care about themselves and their elite class being able to continue to rob us all blind. And big tech are right up in there. Big tech are the engine and the mechanisms by which the spying is being perpetrated, by which the suppression of dissent is being perpetrated. And so creating tools that get us out of the big tech platforms and into spaces where we can communicate and organize without being subjected to that oppression is vitally important. And that's why, and it's funny you say, like, what you did today, you took a yoga class and blah, blah, blah. On Friday, I spent 19 hours working on Panquake. And then on Saturday, I spent 22 hours working on Panquake. And then on Sunday, I slept all freaking day and half the night because, my God, I'd done like more than a week's work just in the 2 previous days. This is how I spend my time. I don't spend my time like in some fantasy millionaire's lifestyle. I don't spend my time like plotting against some random freaking activist, like little whatever it is that they're doing. I spend my time building a solution that will provide everybody I care about in my life with an alternative communications platform. And I do that with an amazing team of people who are all around the world taking risks and volunteering their time and putting themselves on the line so that we can build the solution for everybody. So if you go Google Suzie Dawson, like you will see like unbelievable blogs, like no-name anonymous bloggers with the most unbelievable smears about me, smears about Panquake, smears about every person in my life, every project I've ever been in, like literally. And somehow these anonymous no-name blogs like rank higher on the search engines than like Huffington Post coverage about me, New Zealand Herald coverage about me. Like it's just absolutely crazy. And while these people are out there inventing these fake Suzies and fake histories of Suzies and trying to like stick the knife into Panquake, I'm here working my ass off to deliver the software, and I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm not going to stop, no matter how much they smear me, no matter how much BS they invent about me, no matter how much they try and smear Panquake. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. And this, someone just said this is J-Trig. It's literally, if you want to see J-Trig in action, go type my name into a search engine and press enter. Mm-hmm. It is like, I could literally write a book analyzing it, and every single thing they say about me is a lie. Literally every single thing. And it's absolutely disgusting, and it's unbelievable that they get away with it.
Yeah.
But I've just got to keep moving forward no matter what, because I'm not going to give in to these people. I'm not going to reward them for their depraved activities. I will not sit down and be silent just because they do this to me.
And that's why I got so much respect for you, Suzie, because you just keep going. I mean, they've taken a lot away from you. You had to leave your home country, not see your friends and family. It's not, and you've been targeted, and and you've had to go to Russia, and I've seen it. I've seen what you've gone through up close. It's challenging. So anybody saying any of this nonsense that it's just some sort of fantasy land in some rich guy's castle in Russia or whatever, you're not even really a Kiwi. It's so insane. It's really reminds me of the first time I had you on my show, where I didn't really know exactly who you were. I was just like, oh yeah, you're from the Unity for J thing. Like, and you were like, Graham, did you research me? I was like, nah, just kind of this fly-by-night club comedian, like, we'll just talk. And to hear and to see what you've gone through and to see what it was like up close, it's one of the reasons I made the documentary Graham Goes to Russia. Is I'm tired of being lied to, and to watch people such as yourself get targeted.
Yeah, that's an interesting experience, isn't it? Because this is an entire country that gets lied about. It's like, it's one thing for like little old Suzie from New Zealand to have all this bullshit circulated about her, but it's another thing when they're smearing an entire population.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for 6-7 decades now. I mean, it's like, it's and there was movies made during World War II showing the Russians as our allies against the Nazis. And then as soon as the war ended, it was like, oh, I don't know, they're kind of bad. And there's literally a movie with Gregory Peck in it. He's this Russian resistance, and Stalin is depicted as this like grandfatherly man who's, helping us all to get all the allies work together against the Nazis. Literally Hollywood put this movie out in like 1942 or 43 or something like that, in the middle of World War II. And so to just see, and in the 4+ years I've been doing this show and just really paying attention and seeing the lies, and like when you talk about the Freedom of Information Act, about, oh, wow, they've tried to disrupt the pro-life and pro-choice movement. And then one of the things I do in this show is I always say, follow the money, connect the dots, find the truth. And I've just done that just within a lot within the two-party system of seeing, oh, big pharmaceutical companies and the healthcare lobby, they donate to both parties equally. That's why we don't have free healthcare in America, because they bought both parties and make sure it won't happen. And it's like, you just see, and then the show Government Secrets that I've been doing with Lee Camp, we're on like our 38th episode, and each week the other guy brings up something, one guy brings up something that the other guy goes, what? Like, it's every week, it's just more lies, things are not lies, but things that the country has done that has been hidden from us, that is deliberately just put way, way, way in the back of some book or on some website or in a library that no one's going to talk about. And it's why Panquake is so important, because I'm so sick to death of being, I remember, and I had this ever since I was a little kid. I remember when I learned what happened to Abraham Lincoln. He was assassinated. And I found some kid's history book, and it said Abraham Lincoln died of old age. And I was furious. I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I was like, I remember taking this to my parents. I was like, this is a lie. He was executed. Why are they giving me this Disneyland? Oh, and he just died in a field of old age.
It's for your own good, right, Graham?
Right. Right.
It's for your own good.
It makes me so mad. And so all the more reason to be involved in Panquake. So Suzie, I know it's getting late there. Any final thoughts for everybody and how people can get involved with this?
I'm super grateful, to be honest with you. I'm super grateful. I'm working with amazing people every day whose bills are getting paid so that they can work on Panquake because of the donations that we've received. That is just incredible. And the one thing that I keep hearing from people who love this project and are very enthusiastic about it is, when is it going to be in our hands? When is it going to be in our hands? And the answer to that is, the more people I can hire and the more developers I can have working on this, the faster it's going to get into your hands. So, Niall, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, says I need to drink from a clear glass. No, don't worry about that, Niall. You can embrace the coffee, which isn't actually coffee, because I don't even drink coffee, to be honest with you. Because soon this is going to be replaced by my Panquake mug. Because on Saturday, we just did our delivery meeting, showed all of our awesome merchandise that's going to be available from the Panquake shop next month. And then I'm going to be drinking from Panquake mugs forevermore. So enjoy your final glimpse of my random Putin's Palace not coffee cup that I drink jasmine green tea with no sugar from. Anyways.
And that dog.
There's one thing, Graham, there's one thing we've got to do. Okay, because this is going to shock people. So yeah, there's a lot of things about Panquake that I have to keep close to my chest, obviously, because there are competitors out there watching. There are corporations out there watching. We know for a fact that they're watching and taking cues from what we're doing, and we don't want to give the whole game away, right? But not at least not until we release the beta, and then we'll open our code base. But you, Graham, are one of the very few people in this world, who actually knows exactly what the Panquake user interface is going to look like, because I trusted you with our final front end screens, and so you have actually got to see it. And so I want to be the interviewer for a second and just find out from you, what were your first impressions of it when you saw the dashboard of the new Panquake?
It was really cool, and you were like, I want to show you this. I'm like, are you sure? You're like, no one's seen this. I go, And you're like, I trust you. And I was like, you're my friend, Graham, and I trust you. So I was really honored that you showed it to me. And it is really cool. And you walked me through some of the interface. And I was like, oh man, this is so much better, because so many of these tech platforms, they usually start cool and they make them better. And then when the censorship and the control and the manipulation comes in, or they get bought out, then it gets ruined. And knowing that this can't happen, I was like, this is so awesome. I mean, it was really, the way it was laid out, similar to Twitter, but like using in the best way. And I was really like, I was just so excited to be a part of this and to start using this, because now I'm like, I never go on Facebook. I'm just done with Facebook. I have a Facebook fan account, and my Instagram posts go there whenever I post, and I simulcast. Like this live stream is being simulcasted on Facebook, just in the hopes that the people watching on Facebook come join Rockfin. Really, I'm just using it as, but I don't interact on that. I still use Twitter to talk politics and interact stuff, but I know I've been stifled. They've held me at 32 or 33,000 subscribers. I should be probably at 50 or 60. YouTube has kept me at 78,000. They've demonetized me. I should be at 150, 200,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? Jimmy Dore should be at 1.5 million probably. I mean, like, I'm just tired of all of it. So to see it up close and to hear how you've gotten more fundraising than you thought you were going to get, or you got it quicker than you thought you were going to get, and to like see it interacted and play with it, I was just like, oh man, like I feel it gives me some hope. I'm like, seriously, like Bitcoin and this give me hope, because it's it's revolutionary technology that is going to change everything. And to be involved, to hear about it, and to even just to help promote it. I'm obviously not a web developer or whatever, but like just to have you tell me about it, I was like, oh my God. And just to see it when because you first told me about it last October or whatever, and then to see a beta like version of it, I was like, oh, it's so close and so cool. And everybody watching this that's been hungry for this, because every time I got, deep Graham, you got to come up with it. We got to come up with a new platform or this, or I'm like, man, Panquake is part of the equation. So, yeah.
So out of 10, design quality, just from a quality of design or professionalism standpoint.
Oh, 10. Like it's yeah. I mean, I just was like, it was great. I mean, it was really like, and knowing who you've assembled and your team of people and how everybody's like vetted and you've, because you've done all this, part of being an activist, as you well know, but for those of you who don't, like, part of being an activist is getting the word out. It's marketing, it's branding, it's messaging, it's website, it's getting people involved on the internet. So you've done your web design and stuff. Tech was your job, when you were in New Zealand. And so having all of that just professional and technical experience on top of all your years of activism, and having conversations with Julian Assange before they put him in jail, and knowing people like Bill Binney, I was like, this is like the best ideas are when you're assembling a team of people and all of your collective experience and professional work and on a project that everything that you do or have done or have trained to do all comes together in one place. Like those are the best projects. And, so just from like a show business standpoint, like I've gotten to do some things where, like, when I directed this Native American TV series, I was a director, producer, comedian, and it, like, everything I had ever done, all the hats I'd ever worn as a festival producer, as a director, as a comedian, it all came together. And it was really cool to work. It's such a great experience to have a team of people all with great, everyone's got great individual skill sets, and you bring those skill sets together for a common goal. And those are the projects that are the best. And since this is so revolutionary, I mean, this is like tech activism. it's something like a long form version of like the Wall Street bets thing was such a revolutionary thing. I remember when that first happened, you and I talked about it and you were like, yeah, Graham, and no one got shot. No one got arrested. Nobody got tear gassed. And look what they did. And that's obviously why Panquake is getting so targeted, because no one has to get beat up by the cops. Nobody has to go get arrested or kicked in the head in the streets. We can just change
It also
things.
shows up a really big lie of the state as well, because one of the big lies of it from the intelligence agencies is we don't spy for economic reasons. We don't spy on commercial businesses. We don't spy on commercial enterprises. This is something that's completely BS, but which they've been claiming for years and years and years. And Panquake is going to show up exactly that. So Panquake is a legitimate registered business. It is a commercial enterprise. It is involved in building legal technology, completely legal technology. We've even said from the outset that we will comply with law around moderation practices, but just do it transparently. And yet Panquake is and will continue to be a target of intelligence agencies. And that just shows completely up their lies. It just shows them for what they really are. They want to control technology, just like they want to control politics, just like they want to control finances, just like they want to control resources, just like they want to control society, just like they want to control media. And I can go on and on, even education and medicine and science and that this is it. And so we've got to build our way out from under the overlords, in my personal opinion. I just really want to, because I'll actually feel guilt. I'm the type of person that will feel guilty for days if I don't answer the person who I said I would answer just before. I'm really sorry about fusion centers, because they said, what is a fusion center? A fusion center is something that was created post 9/11. It's a Patriot Act function. Originally, the fusion centers were in Iraq and in Afghanistan and war zones. They were run by the US military. It was a military intelligence gathering center, basically, until they post-Patriot Act installed these things on US soil and really in all 50 states of America. And what a fusion center does is it takes data sources from police agencies, from military agencies, from banking and corporate sector, from whatever is deemed to be critical infrastructure, which means your phone company, your credit card company, your healthcare provider, your whatever. And they merge this all together with what they call OS and open source intelligence, and they just pile all this data together into one big lump, and then they sit there and sift through it. So now when any customer, because this is the language they actually use, customer of a police or security agency or of an intelligence agency, which includes private and corporate institutions and other so-called critical infrastructure businesses, decides that they want to target you for whatever reason, you're not just being targeted by within that one industry, but they're actually cutting across every aspect of your entire life, from like your DMV to your insurance to your healthcare to your education to anything that just happens to be on social media about you, to your police record, to whatever else. They're compiling all this data into one place, profiling you, and then making that data available to their partners, which are all of the aforementioned. And this is part of the intelligence, so-called intelligence sharing agreements that were instituted post-Patriot Act. But they did this all under the guise of, well, if we had this before, maybe we would have caught the 9/11 hijackers, right? So therefore, now we must do this to every American just in case we ever, miss another 9/11 hijacker. And those fusion centers have been, they're hubs for like FBI, they're hubs for police, for like Bank of America has been like caught out being heavily involved in fusion centers, but a large number of others. And they have become like the central intelligence agency of all of the aforementioned parties, and to the detriment of the public, obviously. But they've also been caught out, as I said, from these fusion center FOIA Act requests documents. They have been coordinating interagency, private and public agency spying and sabotage and infiltration of activists and any civil rights groups on left or the right or the middle. So they're heavily, and also working with these private security contractors, like the types that were rolled out against the no GAPL protesters, et cetera, et cetera. That all hand in fist with that, even private investigation companies and people like that, and insurance investigators managed to get into the mix on this stuff. It's pretty nasty stuff. It's a big part of how this. Someone just said pre-crime policing. Yeah, there's definitely an element to that too, because they're essentially collecting your data before you're a suspect or before you're a so-called person of interest, so that they just happen to have this whole, as Snowden would say, so they happen to have your permanent record on hand when they need it. Yeah, it's pretty nasty stuff.
Well, that's like, yeah. That's it's so
all I can tell you is that Panquake also has taken these types of things into consideration in terms of our network architecture. And so we can't protect you from what a police database says or a military database says, but what we can do is make sure that the information that you publish on Panquake cannot easily be scraped, is the word that is used, where they just scrape the whole database. That can't happen with Panquake. With Panquake, they're going to have to collect records individually, one by one, and it's going to be a long and painstaking process for them because of the way that we're passing data through our network and how we're never centralizing it. So even from the blockchain, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for them to scrape that data. And that was something that, we've been making sure of, because we want to take every step that we possibly can to protect you and protect your data. So at least we can stick a dent in the open source intelligence side of what they do, even though unfortunately we can't do much about the rest.
Well, that's good to hear. And it's another reason why people should go to panquake.com and help support this. Well, Suzie, I really appreciate you taking so much time late at night there in Moscow in your Putin palace with a dog that Putin trained to mark my bag when I was there. So that's more of the more evidence.
Yeah, I considered letting him make a cameo appearance, but I didn't want to re-traumatize you. I'm sorry, Graham.
Yeah. That might have been a little triggering. It might have been. My bag might have just flipped out.
Hey, if you're ever feeling a bit hard done by, just remember that I had to quarantine with that dog, not you. Okay.
Yes, you did. Well, Suzie,
and my non-existent kids.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, and your fake actor kids and your Putin dog and whatever else that they just set up just for me when I came to visit, just for one YouTube comedian that they put in place. Oh God.
Well, we can't wait to have you back here, Graham.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to travel again, and
it'd be so cool. And you
I
can bring me some lights that don't bug out on me. Thanks.
I will bring you. Last time I brought stuff.
Last time of everything on planet Earth for you to bring me, you brought me Jack Daniel's chocolate, and I don't drink alcohol, let alone Jack Daniel's.
Well, I don't know who gave you. Somebody told me to bring that, right? Or maybe I just bought it.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It could have been a poetry book or something, but no, I get Jack Daniel's chocolate. Shocking.
Well, next time I'll bring you a poetry book.
Next time you can bring wet wipes. Next time you can bring some dog treats and grate it yourself with the dog so he doesn't soil your suitcase again.
I think that's what I'm going to do. Dog treats and just a big plastic bag to cover my bags with so that everything's safe. Well, thank you, Suzie. Say hi to your Putin actor kids for me.
I will. And, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're the best.
Good night, everybody.
Go to panquake.com.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. And rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.